The message arrived at 7:12 a.m. Maggie was standing in her kitchen, the morning light spilling gently across the worn wooden table, her fingers wrapped around a mug of coffee that had long gone untouched. Her phone buzzed once. She glanced down, and everything changed. Mom, Tiffany and I have decided to sell your house to fund our vacation and take care of some expenses. You have 24 hours to pack your things. We've already contacted a realtor. For a moment, the world didn't shatter. It didn't explode. It simply stopped. Maggie read the message again, then a third time. Each word settled deeper into her chest like cold stones. Sell your house. Your house. 24 hours. A strange thing happened then. She smiled, not because it was funny, not because it didn't hurt, but because in that exact moment, standing in the house she had lived in for nearly 4 decades, she realized something her son clearly did not. He had just made a catastrophic mistake. This house wasn't just a building. It was a life. A white colonial home on Clover Street, green shutters, a porch that creaked in the same place every time you stepped near the railing. The kind of imperfection that became comfort. She and Frank had bought it in 1987. They were young, reckless, hopeful. They painted the walls themselves, argued about curtains, stayed up late planning a future that stretched endlessly ahead. They raised Derek here. Her son, her only child. She could still see him at 6 years old, lying on his back in his bedroom, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars they had stuck to the ceiling. "Mom," he had said once, "do stars ever fall down?" "No," she had told him softly. "Not the ones that matter, but people do." If you've ever had a moment where someone you trusted shocked you beyond words, go ahead and comment one below. I'd really like to know I'm not the only one who's felt that kind of silence. Maggie set her phone down carefully. She didn't cry, not yet. Instead, she reached for her keys. Carol opened the door before Maggie even knocked. "You sounded serious," Carol said, already stepping aside. "I am." "Well?" They sat at the kitchen table. Maggie handed her the phone. Carol read the message once, then again. Then she placed it face down. "He thinks he can sell your house?" "Yes." "Is he on the deed?" "No." "Power of attorney?" "No." Carol leaned back slowly. "Then what exactly does he think gives him that right?" That was the question. And Maggie had been asking herself the same thing for the past 15 minutes. Because Derek wasn't stupid. He was careless sometimes. Selfish, perhaps, but not stupid. Which meant one of two things. Either he had been misled, or he believed something that wasn't true. Maggie went home, and this time, she didn't walk through the house as a mother. She walked through it as someone being watched. She went straight to the study. The filing cabinet sat exactly where it always had, quiet, ordinary, innocent. She opened it. At first glance, nothing seemed wrong. But Maggie wasn't careless. And she wasn't naive. 2 hours later, she found it. Or rather, she found what was missing. A folder labeled House, still there, but incomplete. And in its place, a photocopy, the original purchase agreement. Surface-level documents. Nothing about the trust. Nothing about the legal structure. Nothing about the truth. And that's when it clicked. Derek had gone through her files. He had taken what he thought was everything and built a plan on a lie. Because the house was never truly his to touch. Not now, not ever. If you're following this story and already see where this is going, comment 1. Again, I want to see who's paying attention. Because this is where things start getting serious. The next morning, Maggie sat across from Bill Henderson, her lawyer, a man who had known her husband, a man who understood everything. Bill reviewed the documents, carefully, thoroughly. Then he looked up. "Maggie," he said calmly, "your son cannot sell this house." She exhaled slowly. "I thought so." "No." Bill continued. Not thought so. I'm telling you legally, structurally, absolutely he has zero authority. This house is held in a trust. You are the sole trustee, the sole decision maker. And Derek has no rights while you're alive. Silence. Then Bill added, if he attempts to proceed, it becomes fraud. Fraud. That word changed everything. The letters went out within days. Cease and desist. Formal warnings. Legal boundaries drawn in ink that could not be erased. And then, Derek called, Mom, what is this? His voice was tight, controlled, barely. What do you mean? Maggie asked evenly. This trust, this lawyer, these letters, they're real, she said. Silence. You're doing this to hurt me. No, she replied calmly. I'm doing this because you tried to take something that isn't yours. 2 days later, they showed up, uninvited. Derek stood at the door, Tiffany beside him. Perfect posture, perfect smile, perfect calculation. We need to talk, Derek said. No, Maggie replied. You need to leave. That ended the illusion.